Hello, Wastelanders. It's Jewel Smith playing Fallout 4 as Fiona, General of the Minutemen, and with me, as always, is the apple of my eye, Hancock, and we are going to give you a tour of Croup Manor today. This will continue my Settle series. We're going to start off here at Finch Farm, which you can see in another video. My last settlement tour video was Bunker Hill, which was unlocked. Well, I don't know. I think I was pretty close to the end of the main storyline when I finally unlocked Bunker Hill. So this is where we are. And I had unlocked all of these settlements. I had unlocked Bunker Hill. I did the main storyline. I don't know if I finished the main story before unlocking Croup Manor or not. But you'll notice here there's a little lamp. It says Mercer Safehouse. And there's a little railroad lantern icon there. And that's because Croup Manor in my game is also Mercer Safehouse. Now, a lot of people seem to think that Mercer Safehouse is always Spectacle Island. I've seen people discussing it online, and that is not the case. Mercer Safehouse is random, and it's basically assigned to any settlement you have not unlocked yet. So it can be different for different people. I've known some players where their Mercer Safehouse is Taffington. I've known some players where their Mercer Safehouse is Spectacle Island. In my particular case, it is Croup Manor. I am going to put on my armored hat, which I normally... Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Armored hat. Come on, hat. Okay. And let me take one more look at the map. Right, I want to go straight ahead and then hang a right. Okay. We will do that. It's so dark because it's raining. The sun just came up in the east, but it's storming, so forgive the darkness. We're going to go past this parking garage here. I like to show you the path from settlement to settlement. So if you're trying to link up settlements, especially if you're playing in survival mode and you need to be able to travel quickly between settlements to be safe, it helps to know the safe pathways. I hope I'm going the right way here. Nope. I should have zigged when I zagged. Alright, turn around and go back. This way. Okay. Are we supposed to go over that bridge? Or go this way? Okay, we'll go this way. Yes, alright. I don't spend much time out here. Like I said, I unlocked this settlement kind of later in the game, after I had unlocked so many other settlements and done so much of the main storyline. But I had to come out here because it was the Railroad Safe House. That's what the Mercer Safe House is. It's part of the Railroad quest line. I finished the main storyline by joining the Minutemen and doing the ending with the Minutemen. And so there's a Minutemen checkpoint out here. I think it's right here. Should be. There's military vehicles. Oh, yeah, there's the Minutemen. Hello there.
All quiet, General.
Not that I assigned them there or anything, they just... That's just the way they do after you finish the main storyline. I imagine if you finish the main storyline with the railroad, then these checkpoints are staffed by railroad heavies, maybe? Or if you finish it with the Brotherhood, you end up with Brotherhood people staffing all the checkpoints, maybe? Oh my. They're having a big old battle here. I am not enemies with the Brotherhood in my game, but I'm not really friends with them either. You gonna come at me? Ooh, it's a legendary. Okay. I really don't care about your battle. I need to turn left and keep going to Croup Manor. Good luck with that. Bye-bye. Those vertibirds tend to like to crash on my head. Alright, we're getting close. That's Croup Manor right there. There's the road. It's not a very large settlement, but it's kind of creepy. If you bring your companions here, they'll usually say things about it being creepy. When I used to run around with McCready, he was always talking about the hair standing up on the back of his neck. And Hancock usually says something along the lines of, this place would give a Deathclaw nightmares. So I guess they don't like it. And so I kind of went with that theme along the lines of it being a creepy settlement and along the lines of it being a safe house for the railroad. I kind of played up the whole scariness aspect. Plus the fact that all the dead ghouls here never despawn. So there's like these dead ghouls laying everywhere. Sort of like at Sunshine Tidings Co-op. But I figured the scarier the better. People would stay away and leave the synths alone. Now, in the game itself, I don't think there's actually, like, they don't talk about the settlers coming here and being synths, but I assume they are. If this is supposed to be the railroad safe house, then I assume this is a place where we're processing synths. And so that's kind of my theme here, is a combination of railroad slash scary. And you'll see I've got a couple of robots that are very creepy, who are on guard duty for me. I sure wish the sun would come out and it wasn't all rainy, but maybe that's sort of appropriate for this settlement. Alright, so this guy here, he's the caretaker. He, I think, shows up wherever you have the Mercer safe house. There's John being creeped out, like I said. Alright, and so the outside fence here, I just kind of left it like it was. And then I expanded. I used the shack bridges, as I often do in my settlements. Put in some guard towers. And basically just enclosed the perimeter of the settlement, because it's not very big. And it's all along the cliffs here. That's what I did. Am I not going to be able to jump up on here? There we go. And putting the shack bridges along here also sometimes keeps the settlers from falling. But look, you see some down there? I think they spawn down there, which is, it's outside the border of the settlement itself, I think. But for some reason, a lot of the people who live here will spawn down there. And sometimes, so if you can't find people, like you can't find your shopkeepers or whatever, that's probably where they are. It's right there. And there's not much you can do about that. See, I've got the shack bridge all along here. It's not a matter of them falling, I don't think. I think it's a matter of them spawning down there. And so that's just the way it is, because it's a game feature. Sure, we'll just call it that. Oh, and you can see Kingsport Lighthouse in the distance. We'll visit that settlement in my next settlement tour video. Alright, so that's it. That's what you get. Croup Manor is not very large. If I turn on the workshop, you'll see that really the fence just follows the green border of the settlement, more or less. Just goes along the cliffs. Not big. Not big at all. And I haven't done much building here, but you'll see that size bar is full. I have 18 people. That's actually 16 settlers plus the 2 robots. And the defense, not as high as some of my settlements. I get up to 200 in a lot of my settlements, but it's pretty high, and I thought that was appropriate for it needing to be protected from the Brotherhood and the Institute and anyone else that wants to mess with us. If they ever found out that we were processing synths here. Just enough food and water for everyone. Nothing too fancy. See, there's one of those dead ghouls I mentioned. So yeah, there's not really a lot going on here at Croup Manor. Let's go take a look at one of the robots. That's Succubus. Hey, Succubus.
Actually, I'll be back later.
They sort of look like gargoyles. Big, winged, wicked-looking gargoyles. They're a mishmash of a Mr. Handy thruster and an assaultron head and some other weird parts from Automatron. This little central area here, a little courtyard, that comes with the settlement. I didn't build it, just is what it is. This is Harpy, the other settlement bot. So we have Harpy and Succubus. Some guard posts up here, more turrets. And that's really about it. And then there's the manor house, which is all busted up and broken down and sort of hard to work with, but I did my best. I put food around the center island here. I suppose I didn't have to do that. I could have put it over here. But, you know, whatever. It all fit in there. And that's where I put it. And you'll notice that most of the people here kind of have a little dress code. They all wear rags. Now, they have ballistic weave in their rags, but they have rags nonetheless. So they have these hooded rags, and they have these green rag hat and raggedy rags. Because they're not trying to look fancy, they're not trying to be rich, they're not trying to draw attention to themselves. And I thought it kind of went with the whole creepy rundown vibe of the settlement anyway. You'll know that a lot of my settlements have these sort of themes. Like in Hangman's Alley, a lot of the settlers wear skull bandanas and boulder hats and certain things. And at Sunshine Tidings, they wear a lot of robot armor because that's where my robot workshop is. So that's the theme here, is they're all, I guess you'd say they're poor. I mean, they are synths, and they're starting out a new life. That's kind of what I was thinking. There's our scavenger. There's the workshop. The bell to call everybody up. This is another way to get people. The people that fell down the cliff back there, sometimes if you ring the bell, they'll all suddenly, like, appear. They'll teleport all around the bell. So that's another way to get them back if they fall down there. We'll put some food out front here. I'm going to take those potatoes, because potatoes make vegetable starch, and I always need vegetable starch. There's another dead ghoul fertilizing the potatoes. Mute fruits. I repaired the wall back here a little bit as best I could. That was not easy. It involved using that trick that I mentioned. I think I've mentioned it at Abernathy Farm and in a few other videos, where you put something together and then when you're in workshop, and then you hold down the button and it highlights the whole construction, and then you can kind of like clip it. I did it down in Murkwater too. You can kind of clip through some of these broken down buildings. And I think maybe 10 Pines is another one where I did that with the broken down building there. There's a water pump. I think this one was added by a Wasteland Workshop maybe. It doesn't have to be in water, it can be just in dirt. And a decorative dead ghoul, of course. And a dead ghoul to wipe your feet on. Why not? Now, one of the things, when I first unlocked this settlement, I had unlocked Jamaica Plain before I unlocked this settlement, but I hadn't done much building in Jamaica Plain. And I unlocked Croup Manor, and then I started getting that idea to build a brothel. And I thought, you know, Croup Manor would be the perfect place. Wouldn't it be perfect for a brothel? Like you would have, it would be like an Old West saloon where you have the bar downstairs, and then you have, you know, all the companions, I guess you could call them, upstairs, the working men and women of the brothel. I mean, it really would be just the perfect site for it. But then it ended up being the safe house site for the railroad, and I thought that was kind of creepy. Like, I didn't like the idea of having the synth processing place be a brothel. That felt sort of exploitative to me. Like, oh yes, hello, thank you for escaping the Institute. Now come here and, you know, I'm gonna pimp you out. Like, that just, I don't know, that just seemed creepy to me. So I ended up building my brothel at Jamaica Plain instead. That's the main reason it was built at Jamaica Plain, because I wanted to build it here, but this was the safe house. So, and I felt weird about making it a brothel. My farmers wear bandanas, keep the dirt out of their mouths and lungs. And inside, oh, so this is how I repaired the horribly broken down walls in here. I used cement, and I was able to get the cement to fill in the broken wall here. So most of this wall there, see how it's like all messed up there and over there, and I filled it in here and made this the kitchen. We have a couple of cats running around here somewhere. Yep, got kitty cats. And see, I fixed all this broken wall. This was all broken up too behind here. Fixed it with cement. I can't scrap those boards on the floors. That really bothers me. That's what I get for not being on PC and not being on Xbox. I can't use mods. You'll see I fixed the wall here. I was able to get this piece of wall fit in here to block up that big hole there. There's a nice little breakfast nook there. Why are you going down to the basement, lady? And I don't want to give too many spoilers, but when you come down here, when you first unlock the settlement, there's actually a door here, and you can go into the basement and discover some things. But I wanted to block that off because I felt like if this was real life, well, we'd either be using the basement which would make sense, but you can't because it's a separate location, you know, with a loading screen and everything to get into, and you can't actually go into workshop mode and do anything with the basement. But if I'm not going to use the basement, then I would prefer to block it off because it's a pretty creepy basement. So I'm just going to pretend the basement doesn't exist. I put a wall there. And then over here I put the general store. I think these shelves come from the Vault Tech workshop, if I remember correctly. So those are the shelves of things that might be sold by the general store. And then through here is the bar. And speaking of ghouls that never despawn, I turned this one into our chandelier. And yes, he has a light bulb up his ass. But this is our ghoul chandelier. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it just works. In the immortal words of Todd Howard. So I made the best of it. What can you do? But this is the bar. This is where everybody hangs out after work. And I'll be honest, I'm shocked that this stuff's still on the shelves. Because usually when I put things on shelves in settlements, it all falls through the shelves and into the floor. I complain about that in many settlement videos. Nice little Halloween corner over here because of the whole Halloween creepy gothic vibe to the settlement. Black couches. More scrap wood that I can't get rid of. And then upstairs, I've done the best I can. And the size bar was full up here, so there's not much more I can do. At one point I had all the floors filled in. Like that. You see how that is? Because there's some big holes up here, so I left the wood where I needed to leave wood so there weren't holes. But at one point I had the whole floor done over with wood, which helped to hide some of this ugly crap. But because the size bar was full, I had to get rid of some of that wood so I could put in some other things, to put in more people and shops and things. I mean, there's not even that much furniture and stuff here. You know, I could have fixed this wall, fixed the doorway and all that, but I haven't. Now I could do the trick where I drop something, like I could drop some weapons and then go into workshop and scrap them, and it will actually reduce that size bar. But as I have mentioned, such as my Bunker Hill video, if you do that too much, then everything gets glitchy. And I've even had some people tell me that their saves will get corrupted and their game will start getting really messed up and stuff if you do that too much. So I don't want to try to reduce the size bar too much. But I've done the best I can here. And that's why, you know, I try to shoot for like 20 to 22 settlers in a lot of my settlements because I have a charisma of 14. So I can have 24 settlers in a settlement. But, you know, there's just not anything else I can do here. If I try to bring more people in here, I just can't even build any more beds or anything, give them food to grow or whatever. So kind of limited by that size bar, which is disappointing. But anyway, my thoughts about Croup Manor are that because it is the safe house, it would definitely have a doctor to help the people in the railroad and to help the synths. And of course it would have a surgeon. I don't know where he is at the moment. But there's a surgeon. This is the surgeon's chair that comes with, I think it's Vault Tech, isn't it? Comes with one of the add-ons. But I figured that since, you know, they need to change their appearance maybe so they could disappear easier. And some beds. And more beds. And more beds. And I turned this into a little guard tower. It's a nice view. Alright, onward and upward. So that's the second floor. Here's the third floor. And this is where I really started to get a little crazy here. There was a hole in the wall here. So I filled it in and kept on building up. I put a weapons shop here because I figured that the synths coming in... Oh, and there's a railroad flag! You don't see very many of those in my settlements. But I figured that the synths coming in would need to be armed so they could protect themselves in the wasteland. So this guy is here to give them some weapons and ammo. And over here we have the bathroom, because you always need to have a shitter. And in here, the clothing vendor and the hairstylist, again to help the synths. They come in and they need clothes, they need to change their appearance, or they want to change their appearance. So we're here to help them out. And there's another ghoul floor mat for us to wipe our feet on. So we come in here, that's his bed. And then I built up, and this is on the roof. Some of my guards here are wearing railroad heavy uniforms. I took those off of some of the dead folks at Bunker Hill. I don't know if it's possible. I can probably get more from the railroad headquarters somehow, but I don't really spend a lot of time with the railroad. That's not my thing. Like I said, I got really into the Minutemen and finished the storyline with the Minutemen. And I've done some of the railroad quests, but I guess there's like a ton more that I missed out on because I didn't use them to do the ending of the story. But, you know, whatever. You know, I'm all for like supporting the railroad and helping them out and stuff, but I don't see myself as like, you know, into being an agent of the railroad. My character Fiona, it's more like, hey, I'm the general of the Minutemen and I will help you out and I will help you rehouse your rescued synths and I will destroy the Institute for you and all that good stuff, but you know, I'm not into being like hanging out in their headquarters all the time and stuff. I don't know. To be honest, I didn't destroy the Institute for the railroad. I destroyed the Institute for the Commonwealth. Which is why I consider myself a Minuteman before I consider myself a railroad agent. I usually wear a Minuteman uniform, but I've decided to change it up a little bit since I'm level 128 and I've done pretty much everything there is to do in this game. And I think about 2 years of in-game time has passed since I actually destroyed the Institute. So, you know, I figure what the heck. It's time to leave the Minuteman in Preston's capable hands. And move on. So yeah, that's the settlement. Not much going on here. But we got a lot of beds squeezed in here, and we're trying to do some good work for folks. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed it. Next time, we'll be heading out to the lighthouse.